Everyone, and welcome to Mayfield and Friends, episode 26. Today I'm with SaintShiba, known mostly for his most recent series, and that would be, if you want to introduce yourself, SaintShiba, and talk about your most recent series.
Yeah, sure. So it's a completionist series. So my plan is, well, to complete old school RuneScape from scratch. I do have another account with a Max Cape, Inferno Cape, and stuff. But a lot of people seem to think this is more like collection log and maybe like maxing the account, but it's a lot more than that. And I haven't talked too much about that in the series, but I've got plans. I've got plans to talk about that a little bit more
So,
as the series goes on.
I guess the first question I think many people have asked you, and you've probably answered 1,000 times, but just on the record, like, what made you decide I'm gonna, put this account I've put so much time into the wayside, and I'm gonna restart it all? Was it just kind of like you know, test of your mental strength, or was it just something that interested you way more than continuing on a series with your already maxed Inferno Cape account?
So the idea was I wanted to get into creating videos because I needed kind of a new hobby. Um and I do a little bit of AV work at my audiovisual work at my job. And so I thought it could be like a cool skill to learn. Um, and so that was the idea, and I thought, well, what can I make videos on? And I was like, well, I play a ton of RuneScape, so let's do that. And so I started looking at my maxed, like I say, Max Inferno account, and I'm like, well, it'd be, I don't know, I don't like watching series where I'm not invested from the beginning. So, and I feel like a lot of people would feel the same way. So it felt a bit weird starting like completely maxed, etc. So I was like, I'm just going to start again, and it was as simple as that. Well, there was some other reasons as well. Like, I'm a clan leader, and so I figured once I kind of get like into the mid game, I can help out other people along the way, like teach them bossing and things like that. Um, but then episode one kind of like blew up. So that priority shifted a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember the episode coming in my For You page, and every time something new and interesting like that pops up, I gotta watch it. It's even if it's like a guy with 100 subs at the time, I'm just like, no, I gotta be there. I gotta be there. I gotta watch it.
I'm the same. I'm the exact same.
I'm a habitual
I'm
content consumer.
exactly. I'm subscribed to so many people under like 500 subscribers. Um, and there's a good couple that I really like as well.
What is your what's your current favorite series to watch? Like, what do you when you log in to like RuneScape, you put your YouTube up, you're like, I got this AFK grind to knock out. What's your number one series right now to go to?
So I would say Boaty for sure. Um, and then I would say Tedious. So his his recent he's recently just finished his elite tier, hasn't he? So he's starting the master tier. And he also has his extreme log account as well, which I think is a really cool idea. Um, and I think once he starts getting into more of once he starts clearing a lot of more green logs, it's going to get a lot more interesting because he's going to have to pick and choose where he goes. And it's going to be interesting seeing those choices.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be crazy. Like when he's like, "Oh, I want a blowpipe, but now I have to get the tans and the magma mutagen." So you could,
Yeah, you got to go for the mutagens, the pets, everything.
yeah. So
You're just fully locked in.
which is of course pretty spooky for especially if you don't spoon one of the mutagens early. You could be at Zor for 10,000 plus kills.
Yeah, no, well, even more, definitely.
So yeah, I'm also a huge tedious guy myself. I think we were just chatting before. I really look forward to Gwem's Moral Percent, obviously like the JCW, Haybox, Young A, their max cape speed runs. But my actual favorite one to watch recently God, I can't think of the YouTuber. I'll put it in the description. But he just started his episode 1. I saw it pop up, and he was doing like a chunk locked, but it was like each chunk has requirements to get into it, and like it wasn't just chunks, it was areas too. So it wasn't like so he started in Lumbridge, and then he opened up the like outer Lumbridge region, and then like he's got goals to get into like Prif and all that stuff. And it's a very cool concept, and it was something that I had thought about doing myself, but like area locking. But obviously with things like Trailblazer coming out, I'm gonna do that first.
Yeah, try and get like a taste for it.
I guess since we've already hit that point, you know, we might as well dive into that initial subject, and that is, you know, things that are coming out soon, and that, well, not soon, I guess, but later 2023, and that is Trailblazer 2 Reloaded. So, what is your history with the leagues on RuneScape?
So I played Twisted League, the first one, as soon as it came out. But then for Leagues 2 and 3, I was quite busy in real life. And I think I was playing other games at the time, so I just didn't log in for them. But my fiance Tara, she loved them, was playing it like non-stop. I think she booked a couple of days off work to play it as well. And I think this one is kind of like a fan favorite, isn't it? So I'm going into it quite fresh. Um, and I also have the, as I was saying, I'm gonna be like an ultra extreme completionist where I want my game profile on leagues, like the same one I'm doing my completionist content on, to get the Dragon Trophy, obviously for the POH. But then because pets transfer between leagues, I want to go for all pets on leagues, which I think is quite interesting because, you know, this league, it might be easier to get some pets and quite hard to get others, but you don't really know what to go for because you don't know what the next league is going to hold, you know?
Especially with Trailblazer, how you have to like pick and choose where you're gonna go. So it'll be interesting to see like, oh, I'm gonna go desert, so you can get like KQ, you can get the TOA pet, and obviously you can get Fire Cape or the Jad pet and the Zuck pet in because Karamja will be auto unlocked. But it'll be interesting to see like who goes for what. I know last time I played Trailblazer, I burnt out of it pretty early because I had a plan to do it with a friend, and then he stopped playing it. So I was like, well, there goes like my whole plan. I had a whole different thing in mind, but he was like, no, let's do this. And then we got like, I think he wanted to do Tob and Nightmare, and we just never got there. And it was, basically.
Was that because you were then locked into the choices
I was, yeah,
like Mauritania and things like that, and then you just didn't end up doing them?
I initially wanted to go, I think, Kandarin, Prif, and Desert, but he did not want to do that. He wanted to do, I think it was like Asgarnia, Mauritania, and Wilderness. I don't remember what the third one was. I don't think
Interesting. Okay.
so, but it just didn't work out the way we wanted it to, and so it was just like a lack of motivation at that point to continue on for myself. I got the rewards I wanted, and I stopped. But my favorite one for sure of all time is still like the initial one, the Zao locked one, because that was for me
Yeah,
just
I had
like
a really good time doing that one too.
it was just a lot of fun. I got Rune Trophy on there. I never got Dragon, but I didn't get super close to Dragon, but I was going pretty hard for a while.
Yeah. I think I think towards like the very end I stopped playing, and I think I like decayed back down to like adamant because I wasn't like keeping I wasn't gunning for the dragon trophy at that point. Um it was just it was like an added benefit. I was like, yeah, I'll try and go for that. But then when it got to the end, it just slipped further and further away, and I was just like, ah. But
And
yeah, this time it's 100% going for it.
and of course I think the big thing was as well is like that league ran for so long. 'Cause I think
Yeah.
it was like three
Yeah, it
months.
did. Yeah. Yeah. It was long. Yeah.
So like people who are going for Dragon, like they got to it in like the first month, and then like they were like, well, now I have to continue playing for 2 months and get like 200 mils on a temporary game mode and shit just to be able to continue to keep this cosmetic. And I think for a lot of people, it just wasn't, just wasn't feasible. But I would like to see, I don't know. I like the Zaya lock thing. I don't know if I'm gonna do Zaya on the Trailblazer. I kind of already have an idea. I kind of want to try and do what I want to do in the past. So I definitely plan to do Prif as one of mine. I really like Corrupted Gauntlet. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's probably one of my favorite pieces
I'm,
of PVM content. But with the
yeah, I'm doing that right now, and it's I I didn't do it on my old main account because I didn't really have a need to. But being completionist, I have to finish it anyway, and I need a Boffer and Crystal Armor for TOA.
yeah,
And so I've just started doing it, and I love it. Like there's so many people who say it's horrible, it's the red prison, etc. But I mean, I'm only at like 80 KC or so as of the time this is being recorded. But yeah, no, I'm loving it. I love how fast paced the boss fight is. I mean, the prep is a bit RNG dependent, but
I just
yeah,
like it because
I still like that bit.
I really liked Dungeoneering when it came out in RS3, and it reminds me a lot of that. So I was like, it kind of fulfilled that desire for me before I actually started trying out RS3 again and playing it. And for those who are like paying attention or watching the video at all, you'll see there is an RS3 client up there now. I am, actively playing that game again, and who knows, maybe next podcast I won't be. I'm gonna play it until I'm done having fun, and then just go back to the other style of game mode I like to play. And that's a perfect. It kind of leads me into what else I wanted to ask you, and that's like your total history of RuneScape. We talked about a little about your history with leagues, and we'll come back to leagues, see if you have any plans for that. But I also want to know like where you started and how you came to play OSRS, and how long you've been with the game RuneScape in general.
So I've been playing since around like 2004-ish. Like there were so many friends back then who would play. Um and then like I'd be friends with someone for like years, and then they casually be like, "Oh, have you heard of this game RuneScape?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've been playing it for like for like 3 years already." So yeah, there was just like a lot of people in my area who played it. Um and around I wasn't a very good main account. I was like a big noob basically because I was still a kid. Like
Yeah,
but then when it got to like 2008 or so, I remember fondly. I was fishing in Cathaby. I think I was fishing lobsters or something. Anyway, I went to the bank and there was a level 3 skiller there, wearing I think it was a trimmed fletching cape, and that was the first level 3 skiller that I saw wearing a cape. And I was a big noob. I was just like, how the hell have you got a skill cape when you're a level 3? Like how did that happen? And then I started talking to the guy. I don't even remember his name. And he's like, "Oh, do you want to see something cool?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then he trades me, and then he just like pings up like a whole like party hat set, like Santa Halloween masks, like tons of stuff. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like this is amazing. Um, and then I can't remember, he just like teleported away or something. And I was like, wow, I want to do that. And then I just started like looking up level 3 skillers and things like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go make one. I logged out, made a level 3 skiller, and then kind of from there, I made a level 3 skiller clan. We're still going to this day, but we're not a level 3 skiller clan anymore. We're just like a social PVM clan. Uh, More on the social side than PVM side, but yeah. So I played the level 3 skiller, got quite a few 99s. Dungeoneering came out. It's funny you should mention that because that's what killed my skiller. There was on launch day, I went to Dungeoneering with another skiller friend of mine called Ryan, and they patched it on the day, I think, but there was like this door that gave magic XP for no reason, and it put me to like I don't even remember. It got me to like level 4 combat or something.
oof.
Um, and I was just devastated. because I'd like research. I was like, okay, does this give XP? Does this give XP? I mean, it sounds pretty stupid doing something big like that on launch day. But yeah, they patched it later on, like that. I can't remember what door it was. It was just like a regular door, and it just gave magic XP. But there was also loads of other bugs that came with dungeoneering on release, wasn't there? There was like that whole rune crafting bug that happened on release, where you could get like millions of XP in rune crafting. I think some people got banned from that.
Yeah, there's a lot of like super high amounts of XP you could get. I know for a long time, complexity 2 fishing and mining was like really good for XP. Like people would just do that. Like they wouldn't do any regular fishing or cooking, like any regular fishing or mining. It would just be complexity 2 in dungeoneering floors,
Yeah,
and they would get insane rates.
yeah, it was busted, completely busted. But yeah, I got level 4 combat. I was devastated. I didn't really know what to do. And then I was like, 5 combat looks better than 4. So then I think I killed some cows, or I think no, maybe I got prayer. I think I got prayer. Um, and so I got that up. Wait, no, it was prayer and summoning. I think because I could summon like I think it was like meerkats or something.
Mm-hmm.
They were like these weird meerkat things, and I thought they looked cool. So I was like, well, if I'm gonna ruin my account, I might as well get something cool out of it. So I did that. Um, then Old School came out, and I was there day one. I didn't want to be a level 3 skiller anymore, so I played a main account. But then I can't remember what grind I was doing. I think it was wood cutting. I was like, I'll play an alt account on the side. What alt account should I make? And I was like, I'll play a level 3 skiller. And then I just got invested heavily into being a level 3 skiller again, to the point where I just quit my main account, and that became the alt for the skiller. But then it kind of flipped back around where I was like, okay, now my level 3 skiller is better than my main account, and I want a main account and I want a maxscape. So I turned that into what is now my max account.
Wow.
And then I completely logged out, and then I made this account. So yeah. But yeah, no, I'm committed to this account. I've not felt this like passionate and motivated about the game, like I think ever. It's really nice having this big kind of audience behind me. Um, yeah, it's really nice.
Awesome. And it's funny to hear you say that because you're the first person I think I've had on that's also like fallen down the level 3 skiller route. Obviously, you've changed from that since then, but this like the same thing happened to me basically. You know, I saw somebody level through the skill cape. I think it was like trim cooking, just something
Yeah,
just like you said,
I love the
something
cookie
basic.
cape. It's one of my favorites.
And I was also like, you can do that, and then from there on, I did that. I did a few level 3 skillers. I did some YouTube videos way back in the day. And then I put level 3 basically until Old School came out. And then, just like you, I didn't want to play level 3 right away when Old School came out. And then time moved on. I had a main. I had a hardcore Iron Man, a regular Iron Man, and all that stuff. And then I was like, yeah, I want to, I thought I was done with the game. And I was like, I'll make this account. And I wanted to just get rune crafting up. I just wanted, because I knew that you could do the RCS library to get 77, and then just
Yep.
blood runes.
Yep.
So I did that, and then I started, and I just kept going. That was it.
That's funny because so my fiance Tara, she is still a level 3 skiller. She's got one max skiller, like a normal max skiller, and then she's doing an iron skiller as well. And she did the same method. She did Arceus before like any plugin. She did it on the vanilla
Ooh.
old school client. But I think Wooks had like some kind of page or something where you could like enter like what books you'd like picked up or something, and then you could like click on some squares or something, and then it basically did the same thing but through a website. And she did that to 77, then did Bloods, and I think that was her first 99 on that count on the Iron Skiller. But she's got a couple more Herblore levels to go until she's maxed. She's doing Herbivore.
Yeah, I'm planning to do
I'm not,
Herbivore
not
to
sure how
200
much
mil,
XP.
so I'm not.
200 what? 200 mil hunter, I
Yeah,
assume.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say to herb lord, Jesus Christ.
No, not for Herblore. No, that would be asinine. No, I'm planning to for Herblore. It's gonna take. I'll probably never finish Herblore. Um, but I mean, the plan is to farm the herbs forever, basically until I can.
Yeah.
But who knows if that will ever happen? I doubt it. But you never know. They may make it. There may something may come with sailing that makes it easier to get herbs. Something may come with something else in the future, a mini game or
Well,
whatever.
what's the Tithe Farm herb boxes? I didn't really look at the XP rates or anything for that.
I
Do you
didn't
know much
know.
about that
I
one?
I don't know if Iron Man can even buy those.
Oh, okay.
I
No, no. They're separate from Nightmare Zone. They're I think maybe Iron Man can't buy them, but yeah, they're herb boxes, but from Tithe Farm rather than Nightmare Zone.
I had no idea they added that.
I don't know if they've added it yet, but they were definitely talking about it. Let me have a look. Tithe Farm herb boxes. But yeah, I think we had a look at that.
That would
Oh yeah,
be.
looks like it is in the game. Yeah.
Does it say if Iron Man can buy them or not?
I'm looking at our Reddit post. Ah,
The
let me see.
infamous Reddit.
Yeah, I'll load it up the wiki. Uh, yeah. Yeah, it says Iron Man cannot purchase herb boxes from Nightmare Zone, but can from Tithe Farm.
Oh, interesting.
So
Maybe I will eventually do some Thai farm then to see if that's a viable method for any reason.
yeah, so Tara's listening in. She just sent me a message saying herb boxes will crap herbs compared to Herbie. So
Yeah,
yeah, she definitely tried already, but yeah, but I mean, if you wanted a change of scenery, I guess.
and I don't have 99 farming yet, so maybe I'll just go knock out 99 farming and just use the herbs from there to get. Maybe I'll use it to help me get to herb 99, just 99 herb base, but probably not post.
Yeah,
Could
yeah, for
be
sure.
could be interesting. Something to look into, I suppose. But if she already said it's kind of shit already, then maybe not worth it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Um, but I have recently made a level 3 skiller again, but temporarily.
I saw
Um,
the video. I was very excited because I know when we were chatting before we were recording, you had mentioned I'd probably like the first video of the new series, and I was actually gonna ask about that not
yeah,
next, but
I
we're
wasn't sure if you'd watch that. Yeah.
oh of course I am like I told you I am a serial content consumer. I have seen all of your videos.
Oh, nice, nice.
I haven't been
Yeah,
I don't
what did
think
you think of it? What do you think of the idea?
I love the idea. I love like the fact that you're choosing different account builds to play over a 100-hour period of time to like because I feel like after a certain period of time in an account is when you're going to be like, yeah, I like doing this or I hate doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And
I
it's nice
guess
to go on.
you go first.
I was gonna say it's nice to set like a limit on it as well, because I don't I didn't think I'd enjoy the 100 like having the 100-hour timer on screen as much as I did. But when it got to like I think it was like 99 hours and a half, and I was like trying my hardest to like I was like speed running farming to try and get like all of my stats clean and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed it. It's quite fun, and I went in. I'm gonna go into each one kind of like blind without much of a plan. I'm just gonna set a bunch of goals and see if I can hit them or not.
Do
But
you
yeah,
have
that one
some
worked out really nicely.
others you're already kind of working on the side, or have you not chosen your next one yet?
Um, I think I have chosen my next one. Because when I put that video out, people were saying playing RuneScape 3 Iron Man next. Because I'm not just gonna be doing old school. I want to try and play classic RuneScape 3 and a couple of others that I won't spoil that I don't think people will be expecting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, RuneScape 3, Iron Man, and I've not played since. I've logged in occasionally into RuneScape 3, but I will be going into that mostly blind, and it's going to be really fun. I think I'm gonna try and like disconnect my like feelings and nostalgia from the game
I
and
definitely
kind
had
of like
to.
look at it. Yeah, yeah,
I went in like thinking, okay, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna pretend like this is a completely different game, just in the same universe at this point. Like there
yeah.
are,
It's the exact same mindset I'm going in with, you.
yeah. I honestly, I highly recommend the RS3 Iron Man. Um, there is like a guide they made for it, or a guy wrote a guide to get you through like the early game to set you up for the dailies and monthlies and whatever else is you need to do. And for that, like obviously with your idea, I don't know if like that would be something that'd be interested to you at all. But if you are ever lost, I highly recommend that guide to like, point you in the right path on things that are like smart to do in the beginning. Obviously the guy's a little bit outdated now with necromancy coming out, and I also highly recommend doing some necromancy.
Oh yeah.
It
Absolutely, we'll be doing some necromancy. I'll be trying like all of the new skills, I think, besides invention,
Yeah,
because I remember something about it being locked,
it's locked behind
like
80
locked
divination,
behind crafting.
smithing, and crafting. Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I thought it was just crafting.
No,
Okay.
you have to. It's a quote unquote master skill, so you have to have 80 in
Oh,
those three stats to even start it.
is there more master skills, or is that the only
That's
one?
that's the only one. I don't know why they made it that way.
Okay.
But yeah, but like
It sounds weird.
once you get to like the stats required, and like I think the biggest thing of it is like with RS3, there's so many like dailies you can do that will get you to 80 in those three, not too far along the line. But obviously, with the mining and smithing rework, it's going to be totally different from what we're used to. And with divination just being a totally different skill. The other, okay, can I spoil one small thing for you?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You can't do like OSRS Iron Man crafting methods.
Oh, what kind of like shopscape, or like are you talking sandstone seaweed sort of thing, or
Both, yeah. They all the shops are static. They only restock once every game update. You can't hop worlds, and they took all the sand and soda ash and seaweed out from the charter ship shops.
oh wow, okay.
So there's like totally different ways to do things. Like the current method I'm doing is uncommon gem rocks for gems just to cut them. Like that is the method I have to do right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean that's good. I mean that's kind of what I'm expecting from RuneScape 3, having it, because I mean doing I've got like over a dozen ideas
Yeah.
for account builds, and I don't want each one to be kind of the same. I mean, for old school, I think I'll be doing the first like couple of quests, getting the fancy boots. Like that'll basically be the start for like every account. But I don't want to follow like the same path each time.
Yeah.
So it sounds like RuneScape 3 Iron Man. I mean, at least the methods are going to be completely different from old school, which is what I'm wanting. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's the same gameplay loop, gain experience, gain the skill, whatever, so on and so forth. But like the one of the big things that shocked me was when I was doing early hunter, tropical wagtails are like 60K an hour at 30 hunter.
Oh,
So it's like and you never fail like catching birds. So
oh, thank God.
they're just
Yeah,
they're
thank
just
God.
good they're just good until like the 1 to 99 guy literally says do tropical wagtails to 60. And I'm like, "Oh my god, really?"
Yeah,
So it's like
I had a miserable time doing that on this killer. If you watch the video,
I remember the
I,
video. That's why I brought it up.
yeah,
I was like, "You're gonna have
I,
much."
I was. Oh God, I'm so glad I wasn't like streaming that with a webcam or something. I would have looked. I don't know.
Just red in the
I was like
face, veins popping.
foaming at the mouth, like every time a stupid bird would like destroy the trap. I just wanted to like pluck it out of the air and just like snap its neck. I think that's a bit bit over the top, but yeah, yeah.
No, I get it. I get it. I hate hunter in like RuneScape is probably like my second least favorite skill. So on Mayfield, I didn't do any hunter besides birdhouses until 80, and then I actually really like herbivore, so I did that for 99, and then I haven't touched it since. Minus the random birdhouse run here and there to get some seeds for contracts, of course.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm 96 hunter, almost 97, and that's all birdhouses on this account.
That's
Besides, I
so
think
good.
like 60 to 70 I trained normally because I needed to do Song of the Elves, but
Hmm.
yeah,
So there actually
all
was
birdhouses.
one question I actually had before I well there was two questions I had before we flip over to something else, and the my one of my first questions was um how come you decided on the new account to do a main and not do like an Iron Man or like a UIM or a hardcore on your like on your main series?
Um, so it's because I went into it super mega long term. Like I will complete almost every like I think the only thing that I won't complete is third age on the collection log. I do want at least one third age in the log, but I'm not expecting to get every single piece. But I have a workaround where I'll just buy every third age item. Um, and I'm not normally one for like calking like the amount of hours and things like that, but I I just know like being an Iron Man, it would essentially just double the entire the entire process. And I'm not really one for doing too many chores. So if I was like grinding next, for example, and then it's like, oh, I've run out of brews, and then it's like trying to upkeep supplies and things like that. I'd rather just go to the GE and buy them. So
That makes sense. Yeah, I was just curious because like usually people who do those kind of series like it's like, oh, this is my Iron Man, I'm gonna play it for the rest of my life.
yeah, yeah, no. I mean, I'm the same, but just with the beta count. Um, and for what it's worth, if I do end up picking an Iron Man to play on the side, it won't be full completionist. You know, it'll be maxing and then a bit of PVM and just playing it for fun rather than ultra mega supreme completionist sort of thing.
Yeah. And then my
Um,
other question in regards to all this stuff was, since your fiance, you said,
yeah, yeah.
since she plays a level 3 Iron Skillard, was that ever something that crossed your mind as well?
Um, not Iron Man skiller. Definitely just regular.
Not
Um,
even Ultimate Iron Man Skiller?
no, no. Uh, I will 100% be playing an Ultimate Iron Man, but I won't lock myself to Ultimate. Because the thing is, I mean, I was it her box who said this? Like, he's not into kind of like limiting himself too much.
Yeah.
And I think I was kind of the same. Because I mean, I have this clan and everything. And like one of my favorite things is like PVMing with friends. And I mean, as an Iron Man nowadays, you can do a lot of stuff with other people, like the Wildy bosses, Nex, things like that. But like, I would want to go to Corp. I would want to go God Wars with people. I'd want to, because that's one of the big things that keeps me playing, like playing with other people. Um, so that's like an extra reason to become a main account.
No, absolutely. No, that all makes total sense. It was just a curious mindset from my own perspective, and I'm sure there's some other people who've had that same question.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I mean, another added reason on top of that is it does open up the opportunity for like alts down the road. Um, Now I haven't used my main account for much. I don't think. Like I did some tanking at Bandos when we needed to make some money on it. Um, but I think that's about it. Besides some like boosting, obviously for like Soul Wars and Castle Wars.
Yeah.
I can't remember much else apart from that. But I think once I'm done with my 2000 TOA grind, um, I'm gonna be picking my next grind, and I'm thinking, do I want to use my alt account to like dolo certain bosses? But I'm gonna leave that up to like the viewers to vote on. Like I'm
Yeah.
not bothered either way. It'll just like speed up the grinds. But I don't ever want to use it to like like go camp it at like Rune Dragons and then trade myself like 200 mil out of nowhere.
Hmm.
Like at the moment, I don't want to do that because it will just ruin the like the main reason I didn't want to use my main account to help fund this new account is because I really like despite what a lot of people I mean I'm probably different from a lot of people, but I like the early and mid game and like building like the gear progression and things like that. So I didn't want to just be like, okay, here's a T-bow,
Yeah,
go
here's full
go kill
Torva.
Zora. Yeah, exactly. It's just a bit boring. Um and that, like I said, I wanted to show it from the beginning so people could be like, I'm here from the start rather than, oh, he's just traded like 2 bill worth of gear over. I don't know how he got that money, etc., etc. So
Absolutely. No, and that's like I think a lot of people fail to realize how interesting it is to watch even a main account to like make their own GP and not just have 3 Rune Dragon alts on the side and say, here, I have 8 bill now. Here's max everything. So I'm going to go do these methods that I can get 200 kills in those bots per hour, finish it in 10 hours.
yeah, I mean, I look at a lot of efficiency guides and things, and especially when it comes to mains like pet hunting and things like that. It's like, okay, set up your 6 ults here, and then do this, and it's like, no, I don't. Can I just play the game like sort of how it was intended? I don't know.
I say,
I
like,
don't know.
kind of expanding on that, have you seen Coxie's series, the Funny Feelings one?
Yeah, I have, and I do like that, especially the thieving method. Although I think that was known for quite a while. I think someone tried it in one of our bingos once, but it
The
didn't
stalls?
they didn't get the drop. Yeah, yeah, at Fremnek. But I think it used to be
Draenor Village seed stalls.
exactly, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I think a friend showed that method off.
So I think
But
all stalls
then
have like a static. Like I think most stalls have like the same static, and like because there's no like fail rate if everything is set up properly, it's like that's why it was the fastest. I think something like that.
yeah, yeah, because I think I mean, I don't know, but I think maybe the failure rate was the guards coming to like come over and like hit you on the head.
Yes, and then if you have them
But
all like
obviously, if
set
they're
up,
preoccupied, exactly,
yeah,
if they're occupied, then you can't fail essentially, and you can't be slowed down. So,
absolutely.
but I'm not too worried about skilling pets,
'Cause
because one of the goals is 200 mil all. So
I was just gonna say that. I
I'll
was
be
like, yeah,
shocked if I I'll be shocked if I don't get, you know. A pet by 200 mil. I'd look forward to that actually. I think that'd be pretty funny to go 200 mil and then not get a skilling pet.
I think one of the worst pet grins, and correct me if I'm wrong, like is gonna be the 2 different hunter pets
Um,
because
yeah,
you
well,
have to do Herbie and you have to do Chins. You can't just do any hunter method to get those pets.
yeah, yeah. Um, I'm definitely gonna be doing. I want to do 99 hunter just through birdhouses just to say I did it,
Yeah,
and then do Herbie Ball after because you know I am going for 200 mil also. I don't care about post XP or anything like that. So Um, I'll do that. And then depending on how many eggs I have, I might just keep going with the birdhouses. Um,
yeah. I suppose
I
for
don't
Evil
plan to do
Chicken,
them to 200 mil all or something, but yeah, yeah, for sure.
a lot to think about. A lot when you're going that long term. Do you ever get overwhelmed with like the thought, or is it just is it what kind of keeps you motivated?
Um, see, I don't. I've kind of picked this gigantic goal, and I'm just gonna chip away at it slowly in like chunks. I don't think about the well. I sometimes I think about like the overall picture. Like I was thinking about like fishing as my next AFK goal. But then with sailing, I'm thinking there's going to be some fishing sailing meta that comes out, and all of the completionist stuff that comes with sailing, like the playing around aquarium and things like that. That's 100% going to have some fishing in it, right? So
Yeah,
I don't want to do too much fishing XP before sailing comes out. So I do keep a lot of that in mind, um, which does alter my decisions. Um, because I was recently going for the fish barrel to do cramp ones for the AFK. But then with sailing passing, I've kind of diverted back to doing redwoods, which is what I'm doing right now. Um, and it's chill. I like it. It's good.
Awesome. And one thing that kind of piqued my interest earlier is when you were talking about some of your side series. I don't want to, I don't want you to give anything away. You don't want to give away, but one thing I like to ask is there any other games you play? And you kind of alluded to the fact that there might be more than just RuneScape coming in those side series. So is there other games that we can maybe look forward to seeing in that series, or do you want to kind of keep that a secret?
Um, okay, I'll say one of them, which is Gemfanad. Are you familiar with Gemfanad?
I am not familiar.
Okay, so Gemfanad, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. It stands for like generic fantasy adventure game or something like that. I can't remember. But essentially, it's a lot like RuneScape Classic. It looks a lot like RuneScape Classic.
Okay, I am familiar. Yep,
Um,
I am familiar.
yeah. So it's a RuneScape clone. And so I will play that for 100 hours. I don't know how much content it's got in it. I don't know much about the community. I've seen like some streamers play. I've seen some videos on it, and it looks cool. So yeah, that's one of them. But there is, well, there's two. But I don't know if I'm even going to be able to play the other one. We'll see.
Awesome. And like outside from those, are there any other games that you just enjoy in your free time that you just like when you're like, I'm just gonna log off RuneScape for the day, so I'm gonna do, play this other thing?
Oh god, right. So when the YouTube popped off, I immediately stopped playing like almost every other game. Like so when the YouTube popped off, I in our clan we did like a Minecraft server
Okay.
like a few years ago. And so then as I put the video up, I put a post in our Discord saying, "Oh, is anyone interested in running the server again? Like we'll start from scratch." And everyone was really like on board with it. And so then as the YouTube was exploding, um, went from like 50 subscribers to 9,000 within a week. That in that week, I was playing Minecraft with a bunch of friends, and it was super fun. But then we killed the Ender Dragon, and then that was it. Like people just were like, "Yep, now what?" Which is a shame. I feel like they could do a lot more with Minecraft, but they just seem to like put in a couple of minor updates every year, and then that's it.
Yeah, I think Minecraft is really built for like the creative, like I'm gonna spend hours. I remember people used to build in creative mode, but now people are like, well, that's boring, and now they just go do a let's play where they build like these most extravagant thing that take
Yeah,
them
yeah.
200 hours to gather materials. So that part reminds me a lot of like RuneScape and like how much effort people will put in for like just a YouTube. Like I say just a YouTube video as, somebody who really enjoys to have content in the world because I know how much I like to consume it. So I'm sure there's more people like me who are like, oh, I can't wait for this next video to come out. So and so, I get messages and PMs like, who's the next guest, when's it coming out, et cetera, et cetera. So that I was, I'm sure the massive bump in subs for you was like huge motivation to just continue onwards with what you were planning.
Yeah, so I mean, I thought it was like a really like I thought it was a pretty solid idea, and like the I was, as I say, I was doing it more of as a hobby, like just like learning a new skill, like learning how to video edit and things like that, because it could be useful for my job. Um, but then when the YouTube exploded, I was like, oh wow, like it was like confirmation, like yeah, no, you've got a good thing going here, like so. Yeah, I've kind of just put a lot more effort than I was expecting into YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
but not as much as I'd want to. Like I've got so many so many ideas that are all in like my Notion, which is like a note-taking app. I've got like tons of ideas. I've like written out like the next, I don't know, like 2 years of like content um ideas. But I just don't get enough time to play and video edit. Like I get a lot of time, but I don't get as much as I'd want.
That's the hard part. There's only so many hours in the day, and you've got to divide it between more than just playing RuneScape.
Yeah.
That's the hard part
Yeah.
sometimes.
That's the horrible bit about being an adult. You got other responsibilities, unfortunately.
So, and
But
we'll
you know,
we'll
if
we'll
YouTube ends up, oh, go on.
I was gonna say no. We'll look into those a little bit later and how you balance that. But continue on. Apologize.
Yeah, I was gonna say if YouTube ends up blowing up even more, then I don't know. Maybe like if it ends up being like financially viable for me to like do that instead of like working my job, I think I'd try it out for like a year and then I'd be able to get a lot more done. But yeah.
And then
But
would
also,
you
do you?
also do more streaming as well then to try and help out with that?
Yeah, I 100% plan to stream. I've got something I'm working on in the background. That's more like long term. I'm getting like a ton of clue caskets, and I'm gonna do like a couple of test streams, and then that's gonna be kind of like my first like proper stream to see if I enjoy it. Like I'm just gonna open a ton of caskets, um, and then see if I enjoy streaming, see if I like it, and then if I do, then I'll stick to it and definitely do that um, more on the regular.
Fantastic. I think I cut you off as well. You think you were gonna ask me something?
Yeah. So, do you watch a lot of Minecraft content as well? Then,
I do. Yes, actually.
so can you see where this kind of like 100-hour idea has come from?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I'm glad. Yeah, yeah. I'm
I
glad
love
someone's
like
picked
the
on
100 days videos and all that stuff. And I was just recently watching one of a guy who was playing a mod that made it like Minecraft more of an adventure game.
it. Oh, okay.
But then that was interesting. But like I like those kind of videos. Like I like really long form like video essays as well. Like I watch a lot of the like when Tears of the Kingdom came out or how it's been out now for a little bit of time. The Tears of Kingdom reviews or perspectives that are like a hour and a half long. I'm just like zoning in, playing games, doing quests, and then and then I'm just like listening to that in the background.
Yeah, I'm the same. I watch a lot of Josh Strife Hayes.
Oh, same.
Um, yeah, listening to a lot of his worst MMO ever, and then all of his retrospectives and stuff on other games.
Yeah, I
I
don't
didn't
watch
watch too
his.
many streams, but I would, yeah.
I'll say I don't watch a lot of his MMO stuff. I mostly watch his other game stuff, but I did watch his RuneScape videos when he did them.
Yeah, they're really good. I would suggest watching the other ones on other MMOs. It's really good.
I think I watched New World when that MMO even first came out because I was interested in playing it, and then people were like, "Yeah, I put like 60 hours into it. Now there's nothing left for me to do," and I'm like, "Well, what kind of MMO is that?"
Well, I think wasn't I sort of remember the whole entire economy like being trashed in that game because a lot of I can't remember, I'm not a game dev or anything, but a lot of things were being handled client side rather than server side. So you could like adjust values on your client, and so like say you had like 100 GP in your inventory, you could just change that to like 2 billion, and then that's it. You've got 2 billion GP.
Oh wow.
Whereas that wouldn't work on RuneScape because it's all handled like um, server side. So you could change the values on your client to like say you've got 2 billion GP, but as soon as you like try to trade someone, it show like the true value of it. But yeah, that's kind of what happened in New World from what I remember.
Interesting.
It's Yeah, I sort of remember watching a video on it and just thinking, "Oh my god, is is that how they did it? That's not good."
No, That's
I
detrimental
hope
to
I'm
like
not
the health.
misremembering that. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, 100%.
I'm sure
I
even
don't
if it
know what.
wasn't New World, it was probably something else too.
Yeah, yeah. I hope I'm not misremembering that. I don't know how they would have fixed that, but I'll have a look after. Jogged my memory.
Of like a little, like a little tidbit here, just like cut in something. He was right.
Yeah.
I am. I although most of the time I'm far too lazy to actually edit these, so they just go up basically raw.
Okay.
And
Okay.
rendering a 2 hour video as well is it takes a while. Puts the PC on its toes basically.
Have you got a decent rig
Oh yeah,
or
yeah.
not?
I have no issues rendering, editing, all that kind of stuff. I just editing takes time away from fire making or fishing, and that's not what we want right now. I do
Yeah,
I
when I'm
do
trying to render. Oh, go on.
I'll say I want to finish 200 mil fire making before the end of the year. So go on.
How's that going? How far are you off?
Well, I am 38 mil off.
38 mil. You could do that.
Yeah, no, it's very possible. I just have to not slack,
Yeah.
and that's the hard part sometimes with like life getting in the way with different things, and as we've already mentioned, not having enough time to play, or I play other games too. Like I play Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike 2 just came out. Baldur's Gate 3 or the beta got released to way more people and I got access. And then Baldur's Gate 3 came out and I really
Oh,
want to
nice.
play that. But I told myself I'm not going to buy it until I finish.
You got the 200. Yeah, kind of like as a reward sort of thing. I've only heard good things about Baldur's Gate. I'm trying my hardest not to pick any game up because I don't want to. Like I say, I don't get enough time to do the things I want to do in RuneScape already. But I mean, there's been some games that have come out, and I think at some point I am gonna have to take a break and play them, like Diablo 4. I've got I've got some games to play on like a rainy day when I'm just like, uh, so like Crash Bandicoot 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm saving that because I know I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it. Um, and I'm just saving that for like a week when I'm just like I don't know, like turbo depressed or something, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to cut off everything. I'm just going to go play Crash. I'm going to cheer myself up.
Just enjoy this time to myself for a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So one thing I wanted to ask you that's a little unique to people who like create content like you yourself, and that is like, is this something that you want to keep doing for a long period of time? I know you initially said that it was something that you want to just try to maybe help your skills out for work or whatever it is, but was it something that you were like when you started doing it and got farther into the process, it was something that you really fell in love with?
Um, so I'm definitely going to have to do it long term because I am fully committed to doing the completionist, which is going to take at least like I don't know, a decade, probably more. So I'm definitely in it long term. But yeah, like some bits of the editing, I'm like just messing with my workflow a little bit. Because for this level 3 skiller from scratch that I did for the 100 hours, I recorded the entire thing. That entire like, well, not the entire thing. I had like 96 hours of footage. Because like the Minecraft videos I wanted to do, I thought I would do a lot more time lapses
Yeah.
than I actually did. So I was like, I'm going to need every single bit of footage. And when it came to editing, my God, DaVinci Resolve does not like 100 hours of footage cut up, and I've got like a beast PC as well, and it was just hell, like going through it and like trying to grab like all of the bits that I actually wanted, because that's kind of how I film my completionist. I'm like, okay, something cool is about to happen. I'll hit record. And I've also started using replay buffer as well, so I can like if I miss something, I can just press a button and get like the last 2 minutes. But that's how I'm going to do it moving forward. I'm just going to treat it like the completionist, where I'm like, yeah, this is something cool is about to happen. I'm about to get like, I don't know, like a 99 or something. So I'll get a clip of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Rather than record the entire thing. I still like doing the time lapses. There's something really satisfying about like watching like wood cutting at like 8,000% speed. It just I don't know if other people feel the same. I've not had any complaints, but it looks just like visually pleasing to me. I don't know. So I'll definitely keep some in.
Awesome. And for those who haven't really seen much of your series or are not caught up, or maybe they just use as background noise, haven't really like super listened in. What are some of the big things you're working on right now, and what are some of the biggest things that you would say like you've done already on the account?
Um, so right now I'm like one level off 2K total. But I've not really touched too much skilling. One of the biggest things I've recently completed is, well, I'm like 99.5% completed, is full Castle Wars completion, but not like a lot of collection loggers, they'll go for like 800 tickets, and then you can buy like the most expensive item, sell it back, then buy like the other piece, sell it back, and then that completes the log. But I'm going for full ultra completion, so I want to fill in my entire playground house. So there's like some containers in there where you can store your Castle Wars armor.
Yeah.
So I need like all of the Castle Wars armor all at once, which is like 5,600 something tickets. Um, but also there's a space in the playground house that needs like the full gold decorative armor for another, well, not the full gold, but like 1,800 more tickets worth. So in total, that's like 7,300 tickets, um, which is, I think last time I calculated, it was like somewhere between like 700 and 900 hours.
Damn.
And I just completed it almost. I've like left some tickets because I want to do. I've done some of the tickets legitimately. I've boosted like the vast majority, but I have like played some legit Castle Wars, and I'm planning to do some like events where I just invite everybody I know to come play Castle Wars for the last remaining tickets. Maybe stream it. Should be fun.
It's awesome.
But another goal I'm working on is, I think I said already, the 2,000 Tombs of a Massacre, because there's each raid has a cape where you need 2,000 completions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the goal at the moment. But I've kind of sidetracked it because as I say, I need a Bofa and some crystal armor to like bump up the invocation level so I can start printing a bit more money. So I've kind of sidetracked into doing the gauntlet for now, and then I'm going to go back to TOA.
And
But yeah, I think.
I'll say quick
Oh, go on.
sidebar. I actually heard you on the '07 Iron podcast.
Oh yeah,
They were
yeah.
talking about the 2000 CMs and how there's been chat about the Chambers cape being changed to just 2000 regular instead of CMs, and that would basically completely devalue the whole point of a CM minus the dust and the kit. What are your thoughts about that? What would you like to see?
Um, I don't really have a dog in the fight. I don't mind. If I have to do 2,000 CMs, I have to do 2,000 CMs. If I have to do 2,000 regular, I have to do 2,000 regular.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact they're even thinking about it puts me off doing chambers because, as I say, I try not to think too long term. But when you're talking about doing 2,000 regular chambers and then 2,000 CMs, that's like a big like hour difference. So I'm gonna hold off on doing chambers um until I don't even know until we know more of like what their decision is. Um so I think maybe when there's like a fourth raid that comes out, and then that cape has like a hard mode and a regular, and then the regular is like the 2K capes, I think people might start, I don't know, piping up and saying make chambers regular. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not bothered either way. I'll do whatever I need to do.
Awesome. Yeah, that was just like a little sidebar thing. So I heard you guys talking about on that. As I was falling asleep one night, they were like, and this is our guest today, and I was like, oh, I know who that is.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very unexpected. They were like, "Do you want to talk about sailing?" Because I think we were just chatting about it as the summer ended, and they were like, "Do you want to come talk about sailing?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." Um, so I kind of dropped everything that night and did that. I was quite passionate about it, but now I'm not too bothered.
I said
So
we'll probably get into that a little bit later. But I want you to keep talking a little bit about your goals and the road ahead. Basically, you said TOA capes, your work 2A cape you're working on, but moving to Gauntlet to get a better upgrade for that because of course both is expensive. Um,
yep.
Castle Wars. So
Um,
what's on the horizon for you? What is something else you like? I can't wait to sink your teeth into.
so after TOA, I've not really talked about this much. I kind of want to make my videos. I kind of like break because it's so long term. Like I'm thinking like a decade at least, right?
Yeah,
I can't. I want to kind of like break it down into like mini series, if that makes sense. So like the Tombs of Amascut would be its own kind of like mini series, and then after that, I pick the next one. And I'm thinking of putting it to votes for my viewers. And I'm thinking full God Wars completion, full wilderness, maybe picking Theater of Blood, or like all Desert Treasure 2 bosses, things like that, and have it like kind of themed around like, okay, so say, we choose God Wars or whatever. I'll go do, I'll get every single pet, get all of the drops, maybe go for the combat achievements, which is something I'm kind of slacking on, the combat achievements. And I think if I did go in this route, then it would kind of lock me out from going for the Grandmaster Helm because I get like a ton of KC, a load of random bosses.
yeah.
Whereas I kind of want to go into them like quite clean. As I was saying, I want to like go in from like the start at God Wars and be like, okay, I've got like next to zero KC here. Watch me go from zero KC to like every drop. Um, so yeah, but I'm kind of like working out the logistics of it and thinking how that would affect me like long term. As I say, the combat achievements would be one of the things that would, if I went with this idea, then the combat achievements I think would suffer a bit there. Um, but yeah,
There's the YouTuber I watch that does that too. Have you ever watched UAM Loki?
yeah.
Is that because like that's kind of what he does it in like a sense like that, but it's all part of the same like encompassing thing.
Yeah, yeah. I love watching his raid videos. Um, and I was thinking of like memeing one of my future TOA video titles being like 2000 TOA or the Xerix the Xerix Cape 5, whichever comes first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't. I was gonna do it for episode 2, but I didn't. But I might still use it for one of the other ones.
So that's that's looking forward. That's great mindset. And another question I wanted to ask is due to the factor of you thinking about 200 mils and all that kind of stuff, and that leads me into like is there any skills you're like excited to do? Are there any you're gonna try and do like very actively and not just AFK like you said with like fishing or woodcutting, or are you gonna mostly just try and do that when you don't have time to like actively play the game?
Um, Cooking 100%. I love. It sounds weird, but cooking, fletching, like they're they're some of my favorite skills. Like smithing, like I think you call them the production skills, right? So
Yeah.
I love the buyables essentially. But yeah, I'm gonna love cooking. For some reason, I enjoy one tick Karambwan cooking, and I think even even though it's 200 mil XP, I'm gonna enjoy doing that. I don't know why, because I don't really like tick tick manipulation too much. Especially like tick manipulation mining. I can't do it for some reason. I can't get the timing down. And I've tried to learn it. I tried to do some gem mining, but I couldn't. And then once I kind of like, I thought I understood what I was doing, I ended up hating it. I didn't like it. So I think something like mining I might have to do through like volcanic mine or something.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
And then, is there any like, what is your like plan for Slayer in regards to like that? Are you gonna try and knock bosses out while you're doing Slayer, or are you gonna try and skip 4 bosses specifically while you're doing Slayer itself?
Yeah, so that is one of the choices that I've got written down as well. So instead of like, God Wars completion or Wilderness completion, it could just be like 200 mil Slayer. And then, especially with the combat achievements, you've got you can change the boss task so that you've got like 50, 60 something bosses, right?
Yeah.
Um and yeah, I think I have to talk to the audience a bit more and figure out like what they would like to see more, because personally I would like to see it from like, I don't know, like Zulra 0 KC to like completion. But I've already done a little bit of Zulra. I've already done like a little bit of Vorkath, a little bit of God Wars, so I don't know.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's like I say, it's something I'm figuring the logistics out for.
Awesome. And I guess if you were curious as to what I would
Yeah, yeah.
say go ahead with whatever like is going to make you, you know, have the biggest drive to keep going. And that's like a pretty cliche answer, I would say. And from a viewer standpoint, I like just general videos. I don't need it because for me, when something is super hyper focused on one thing, I tend to get bored of the video because like if all I'm watching is somebody kill the Desert Treasure 2 bosses for 30 minutes, I'm gonna click off the video after 15.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
But
Yeah,
not
it's
not
like mixing it
always.
in.
Yeah, and that's not always the case, but like I tend to find that like that is the case for a lot of stuff, but it also depends on the person too. Because if you just really like the person and their videos, you're gonna keep watching. Or if I'm not like fully focused on the video either, then it'll run the whole time for sure.
Yeah, yeah. As I say, I'm not locked into the idea. It's just something I've been thinking of, kind
Absolutely,
of like breaking it down into mini series so that it kind of gives like a jumping in point for new viewers, so they
that's a
don't
good
see
point too.
like completionist episode 912 and they're like, nope, I'm not gonna watch that. Um, Whereas if it was like, I don't know, God Wars completion episode 1, you're like, oh, okay, all right, cool. Or episode 3, you're like, okay, I've only got 3 videos to catch up on, and then I'm here. Because I think you'll notice like my videos don't have episode numbers in them. I wish they did, because I like, as a viewer, I like them, but
Yeah,
the YouTube algorithm really, 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 really doesn't. Like anytime I've tried putting in the episode numbers back in, it kills the like click. I don't know if people even know what I'm talking about, but it kills the click through rate, which then kills impressions. So that basically means like people aren't clicking on the video because they're like, oh crap, I've got like 10 other videos to catch up on if I. Okay, wait, let me get back. So if say you're watching a video and then you see the sidebar, right?
yeah,
Um, if you're like, okay, what video should I watch next? And you're quickly scrolling through, you're probably looking at each like title and thumbnail for about 2 seconds each. And so then if you see one where it's like, oh, you've got to watch like 10 hours of content to catch up with this one, you're going to be like, nope. And then you're going to click on something, something else, like a booty video or something that again has no like episode number titles in them. And so then that affects like the click-through rate because YouTube has given that, it's called an impression. So like an advertisement for your video.
Yeah.
And then if people don't click on it, so say like 3% of people click on that video, then you end up kind of getting less impressions. Although it does also, there's other factors that come into it. But yeah, so it sucks, but it's what you have to do to feed the algorithm.
The algorithm game is so crazy to me sometimes because like before I started doing the casts like this, my progress videos would just like fall by the wayside. I get like a couple hundred views, like it wasn't nothing. And then I started uploading regularly like, after I did the first podcast, and then I uploaded a progress video very not long after. The progress video went insane. Like I got over 1.3k views in 24 hours. And before that, my most viewed
That's really
video,
good.
yeah, before that, my most viewed video was 1.5k, and that was like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
So just crazy how
I think,
fast like things have changed. Like things change if you consistently upload.
yeah, that's yeah, like I say, that's one thing I'm trying my best to try and do is upload more often. But yeah, life gets in the way. But it, yeah, the algorithm, like when I think the reason my video exploded is because before I uploaded that episode 1, I uploaded like a quick like Halloween event guide.
Yeah.
And that there's a lot of people searching for it. A lot of people will watch it. I think it got like 5,000 views whilst the Halloween event was on or something, which was incredible. Because I got it out really fast, so people could just follow the guide and whatnot. And how I understand it is YouTube tries to learn what your channel is about. And so if it's like, oh, lots of people who watch RuneScape content just watched this video, this must be a RuneScape channel. So then when I uploaded my episode 1, YouTube's like, oh, okay, cool. This is a RuneScape video. I'll push it out to a bunch of people who like watching RuneScape. And then people are like, oh, new series, bang, click on it. And then it just exploded from there. And I've like since that first video exploded, I've just been like binge watching YouTube education content.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets to a point where like I think this is a pretty known thing. You get to the point where you think you know everything and then you keep learning more and more, then you realize like how much more there is to learn. Um and I've recently got to that point with my like newest videos where I started TOA. Like I was talking to Hanani and I put out a video and I was like, "Oh, this isn't doing as well as like the other ones. Like could anyone tell me the reason?" Um and some of the things like Hanani told me was just it was just like that is so obvious. How did I not notice that? So
Yeah.
like my video was titled something like uh what was it? The upgrade plan to start expert raids or something like that. Um and I thought that was a pretty cool title. So it's like, talking about like uh the bits I need to start doing experts, which is what the video was about. But then Hanani explained like, well, see, people are going to read that title and they're going to be like, so the upgrade plan to, oh no, it was the upgrade plan to get rich at TOA. That was the video title. And
Yeah.
it was explained to me like, people are going to read that and then they're going to be like, oh, okay, so I don't need to watch this video. I need to watch the next one because this is the upgrade plan to get rich. So he doesn't get rich in this one. He's just going to, do a little bit of progress. And then the next video is the one that I should watch.
Oh.
And then it was like, boom. It's like, that was like a big knowledge bomb. It was like, oh my God, that is so obvious. Like and then I changed the title to, I started expert raids and doubled my bank. And I mean, I'm not. I doubt everyone who watches this like uploads videos on YouTube, but YouTube gives like a little graph, like a little blue line of like how your views are doing. and then as soon as I change the title, there's like a bit of a spike that goes up. Um, so you can see like with data, like it's I don't know, it's just really interesting.
It's also interesting like to watch it happen because like on my front page there was a Mr. No Sleep or Iron No Sleep video that was moving to best in slot. Like it was like Iron Man to best in slot or something like that, and he was wearing Carol's in the thumbnail, and then it had him going to Armadale. And in my head, I'm
Yeah,
like, well, that's not best in slot anymore.
yep.
So it,
I
and
thought
then
this exact same things when I saw that, and even like the Archer ring, it's not. Yeah.
yeah, and then this next day I log into YouTube, the same video, different thumbnail. Now he has like
Oh, he's changed it.
he had
He's
Masori
changed it.
pieces in there,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
had
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And it's weird how
yeah,
like if you see a video like right when it's uploaded, it's not always like the final version. It's just like they needed to get it out there, and maybe he was still working on the thumbnail and just had that one and some like just had like pictures like that stock in a backlog somewhere. And
yeah,
so it was very interesting like hearing you say this and then like that clicking now in my mind. I bet you the click through rate on that video got much better when he changed. I think he changed the title too.
yeah, yeah.
And
So that's one of the best things you can do. Like, if a video's underperforming, you can try and it's. I think they call it like repackaging it. So you like give it a better thumbnail, you give it a better title, that better kind of like describes what the video is about, or you know,
it's just so weird, like some of the
um,
small things you don't think about until like you're doing it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, as well, like one thing you should, if I don't know if anyone's going to be listening to this wanting to do YouTube, but you have to put a big emphasis on planning your titles and thumbnails. Um, like to the point where, do you know a guy called Ryan Trahan?
No,
Like, did
never
you
heard of
watch his
him.
Penny series? Okay, so he did the series last year or something. It's called the Penny series. So he lives on a penny, and he's trying to travel across America to get to Mr. Beast to give him a penny. And so he's doing like money.
I've heard of that, but I never watched anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So he's doing like money makers in real life and things like that. But because he's like on the road, he had to like plan all of his thumbnails and titles in advance. And he spoke about that on a podcast. And when his like new series came out, where he's like going across Europe or whatever with this penny, you can see like there's one where he's like washing dishes or whatever, and it's like day 6, but he doesn't actually do any dishwashing. Like he can't just like walk in a place and like do some dishwashing for some money.
Yeah,
Um, but he's already planned that title and thumbnail, so he has to like incorporate it into the video. I don't know. It's quite interesting. And I don't know for sure, but I think I've seen Solo Mission do the same thing with his Dead Man series that's come out. Like one of his newest thumbnails that came out is just like him holding like a like a bank key or whatever with some loot on it. And I'm thinking he could have like designed that thumbnail already, but not put the loot inside like what he's holding, if that makes sense.
no, that makes total sense.
And I'm thinking of kind of doing something similar for leagues, but we'll see because it's a big time save. I don't
I
know.
I haven't decided if I'm going to do leagues I've never done leagues content, but I've played all of them. But I'm kind of thinking about I might want to do leagues content, but different from most other people. And
Okay.
I kind of have a plan for it. It was kind of like I had a plan for a series, and it was kind of like a Trailblazer series, but I want to do like, do you watch any kind of like video game movie stuff? Like, you ever watch like those Rust movies? Like I guess like the Minecraft movies is like a good example.
Sorry. Yeah.
So you don't
Yeah. So
you know what I'm talking about though, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I do.
So
We got kind of a similar thing with RuneScape. Like people call them like mega cuts, where like they upload like their entire series as one video.
yes,
Yeah, yeah,
So I kind of wanted to do a series where I like finish a region and it's just a movie, like 1.5, 2 hours, like just a super and like well edited. Like I wrote a script for it. I know like I have it planned out. And obviously with Trailblazer, it's gonna be different because the tasks are probably not gonna be the same. The relics will be different than last time, most likely. Like there's gonna be minute differences, but I kind of want to take that idea and use leagues as the format to see if it'll work, see if I like doing that before I spend the time and 300 hours on a new account doing it and then hating the process.
yeah, yeah, 100%. No, that's a really good idea. Yeah. No, I think that's a great idea.
So if I get ambitious, look for that in when like during leagues. If
So
you
would you upload like how would you upload like every week then, or would that be like at the end of leagues
that
you'd
would
like
be like the yeah,
wrap
like
it up?
probably like it depends how long the league is. My thought would be like have each region its own separate movie and then like maybe a finale where like you do some of the biggest content in all three because like leagues for me leagues videos are really cool until I get to like the 15th one and then it's like now I'm one-shotting General Garador looking for Bando's boots for this clue scroll so I can get third age. that
Yeah.
that's where they lose me is like so I want it to be like fast paced but also have a story behind the reason the things are happening. Like, you know, say I do pick Priff, and I'm like, like I want a Bofa, and like here are some more tasks sprinkled in. Here's like the story, the climax, so on and so forth, that kind of stuff. Obviously, it'd be different with like the pre-proportioned tasks that Jagex lays out for us in the league already, or like you know I don't know. There's a lot of ways I could go with it, but that is kind of my thought of what I want to do with leagues this year.
Yeah. No, I really like that idea. That sounds really good. I'm kind of I'm sort of doing a similar thing with the well, not really. Um with a completionist, I'm doing like big huge grinds and then, you know, just showing like all of the dopamine clips rather than, slowly going through things.
Yeah,
Um
but also like I like that you
but
incorporate the time lapse in there because like you're like I'm watching like the process, and then like when you get to the end, it slows down and like the process is ended. You've seen the process, but not in like the actual you sitting at Crimson Swift for 5 hours. It was
yeah, exactly.
it wasn't the
Yeah, no,
painful.
exactly.
Yeah, no, I really liked that, and that's kind of something I want to like incorporate in as well.
Yeah, no, that sounds really good. I think for leagues, I might do. I don't. I think I'm gonna try and upload more because I think with leagues, there's a lot more that's actually like going on. There's like a lot of things popping up, a lot of tasks being done. Like the progress isn't like insanely fast, so I feel like I could upload more.
Yeah,
So I'm kind of going the opposite way, but I'd like to. I'll definitely be watching yours when it comes out.
that's
If
if
you
I
do
get
plan to do
ambitious.
it,
Yeah, the plan right now is to.
and if
I think
and if
I'll
we get the time.
yeah, exactly. If we like last time how we got the relics, we kind of got some stuff early. We kind of had ideas, so I think if we get stuff early enough and I have the time to plan it, and then I set time aside to really play it, because I'm sure they'll do it like they did I think it was 2021 where they did it like near Christmas time. So maybe I'll use some vacation and really try and put the hard effort into it to try and make it like a really well done series.
Yeah,
But I guess
I
time will
mean
tell.
you'll learn. I mean, the thing is, even if you don't necessarily enjoy it that much, you'll learn a lot along the way. And as you say, this is kind of like a test, isn't it, for like a
Yes.
bigger project? So yeah, no, I think that's a really good idea because you can test the waters and you can like build your skills from it as well. So like the video editing side of things and the storytelling and the script writing and things like that. So yeah, it's a really good idea.
Well, thank you. Absolutely. And The video editing part is the part I'm definitely the most scared of because I have never done like any big video editing in my life. So it'd kind of be like, I want to do this YouTube tutorial. How do I do this in DaVinci Resolve? And it's just like,
Yeah, but I mean that's how it goes. I mean, I've slowly been learning some things with DaVinci and Audacity and things like that. Like I've been doing some like brain dead things, like in Audacity. I've been like, maybe we could talk about this later, but there's like editing tricks that I've learned that could have saved me like hours before.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, personally,
so
I would
yeah, I
highly
can.
recommend using like a more complex DAW. It'll take you more time to get used to, but like it'll give you much more features than Audacity will. I use Reaper because it's free.
I've not heard of Reaper. I know of Adobe Audition. I don't know if yeah, I don't know enough about like the audio
I
side
went
of things.
I went to school for audio production,
Okay.
so
All right, I could pick
I've
your brains then.
yeah I've worked with like I haven't done audio production in a while, but like when we do music for my band, I do demos for myself. I do like that kind of stuff, and I've kept up on it, just not as much as like most people would. But it's still something that I am familiar with. I have like I have the knowledge. I just haven't put it to use in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you definitely know like a billion times more than I do, so that's cool.
We can change
Yeah,
that
I'll pick your brains. I'll pick your brains.
definitely anytime. So
Um,
so getting back into like we talked a little bit about leagues. We kind of half touched on sailing, noting that that was going to be something that maybe we get onto. So, what I want to ask you is in regards to updates, old school RuneScape updates. Has there any? Has there been any? Not even recently, but just the whole game's life that have just really stuck out to you. That have been like this is like something that changed the game for me in an extremely enjoyable way forever.
um,
I guess short term,
hmm.
shorthand. Favorite update, least favorite update that have come out recently or in the 10 years of old school's life.
So I think favorite updates is going to be collection log. Um, Shock horror, I know. But that's like breathed a lot of life into the game for like a lot of main accounts because you can kind of play with the Iron Man style, like going for drops, but you're not necessarily tied to like all of these chores of like supply upkeep and things like that.
Absolutely.
Um, so I think it's like I think it really has breathed a lot of life into the game, and I think it's like a net positive. I know a lot of people don't really care about collection log; they find it cringe or whatever, but you know, you have to admit it has changed the game a lot, and I think it has like retained a lot of players. You know, because a lot of people like as soon as you max, you're like, it used to be you're just like going for pets, but now you can go for lots of other stuff as well. Um, and
It's
I
an
think
incredible
the
update for
other
sure.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about it is, I mean, it's quite inconsistent with like what's on it. Um, so take like the mask you can get from the TOA secret loot room, for example. That's not in there. There's like an entire list in the collection log Discord um, of like items that are just not in the log for whatever reason. I think Bounty Hunter's still not in there, which is weird. It should be.
Yeah,
It's quite
if
yeah,
LMS is in there, then Bounty Hunter should be in there.
yeah. And if I don't necessarily agree, like a lot of people are like, no, don't add it. I don't want to go do bounty hunter or whatever. It's like, come on, it should 100% be in there. And if you're really for the collection log, you shouldn't get upset about new things being added to it. Like I get quite excited when new stuff is added to the log because I've got more to do. You know, I enjoy collection logging, so I there's more collection logs to get. Um, and I see some people complaining like, "Oh, you only need I don't know, like 1200, 1300 to like get to oh no, like 12 what was it? Like 1200's not even top 80 or something anymore." And it's like, "Well, yeah, they're adding new stuff to the game all the time." So, of course. It's
Yeah,
going to get to the point where like 1400, 1600 is not going to be top page anymore. That's just how it goes.
yeah,
Um,
they're gonna add a bunch of easy stuff. They're gonna add stuff like the 2K capes from raids. You know, like it's and new pets and all that kind of stuff. So like, there's gonna be log slots that take hundreds of hours, and there's gonna be log slots that take 10 minutes.
yeah, exactly. I do think, I mean, there is going to be not a completionist cape. I think they're calling it the Master Cape that's coming out. And that's kind of like a post max goal for a lot of people, but it's so weird because it has like one of the goals is like the elite combat achievements. Like that, it doesn't go master or grandmaster. It stops at like elite. Like you get elite, and then
I think I saw what you're
yeah,
talking
you
about.
can get the cape. Yeah, it's so weird. I mean, I know there'd be a lot of debate over like what should be in a completionist cape. Um, which is fine. I don't, I'm not saying you need 200 mil or you need to do what I'm doing to have a completionist cape, but it just seems weird, like stopping at like elite. Um,
Well, they could
and
do
yeah, I don't know.
maybe the thought is like having the regular cape be kind of like a quote unquote completionist. Like you did a lot of stuff, and then maybe they'll do
Yeah,
like a trim
yeah,
like they have in RS3. Whereas like
yeah,
you did
yeah,
all of the stuff basically, like you did every small thing, you know. Because I remember I watched back in the day there was this dude who was doing the exact same thing as you were, getting like every Castle Wars item, all that kind of stuff, and like doing all that kind of stuff because he wanted trim comp. I think this was like, God, like 2009, 10.
yeah,
But eons ago, and there was like debate back then, like should Castle Wars even be on the trim comp requirement? Like, what's the point? You have made me sink this many hours into it, and back then for the comp, you had to straight up have everything in your. You had to like buy everything, and I don't think sellback was 100% the same as it is now. But I don't know. It's weird how, like you said, there are consistencies and inconsistencies between certain things, and
yeah. And I think it may. I mean, I'm not one of these players, but like if there was to be like a master cape that comes out or completionist cape or whatever, would people then vote no to more updates coming out? Because it's like, oh, I'm gonna lose my cape, so I'm gonna vote no because I don't want to do that to like get it back. But
that's an interesting
I,
thought.
I think, as I was saying before, like with the collection log, I'm happy when new stuff gets added to it. And even with like a new skill, like when a new skill comes out, I'm gonna be happy we have a new skill because I enjoy playing the game. I'm probably going to enjoy the new skill, sailing. So, um, but yeah, another update that I really liked was the clan update. Although it did come out half baked, um, which is why which is why I'm not 100% sold on sailing just because of like the staff resources there. Um, like Elena was working on the clan update, and there's still a lot that needs to be done with the clan update. Um, that's kind of just been like I feel like with like a lot of updates that come out, there's like some bits that still need fixing, but it's like if it doesn't get fixed within like a month or two, it's like it never gets like looked at for like another 3 4 like look at chambers, with like the raid tokens and all that sort of stuff. It just, I don't know, I feel like it's going to be the same with the clan update because of sailing and like resources being put into that.
Yeah, I would like to see the dev team maybe expanded a bit more and getting.
100%. They need more staff. They definitely need more devs.
I would like to also see more people on the team, like how they hired Manked, who was a very avid RuneScape player. I would like to see more dev team resources being given to other very avid RuneScape players, like people who love the game outside of it being their job.
Yeah. I think we're quite fortunate with like a lot of the dev team do play as well.
Yeah,
Um Yeah, like I think almost all of them, almost all of them play RuneScape and are pretty good at the game. But yeah, it. I mean, surely that's going to be like one of the questions in the Jagex interview or something. They'll just ask you a bunch of RuneScape questions, like gauge your knowledge or something.
How many quest points do you need
Um,
to get the quest point cape?
no, yeah, I don't necessarily mean something like that,
That
but
would be a
like,
crazy question to ask
yeah,
in an
it'd be
interview.
crazy if like I've never looked at like an application form, but like maybe on an application form they're like, "What's your RuneScape name?" And then they go back and like look at your mute history or something, and they're like, "No, we don't want this guy." I don't know.
So I think those are two like
Um,
pretty solid choices for really good updates. But
yeah,
I also agree
yeah,
with you in the factor that like some stuff that needs that they've talked about putting in the game or talked about fixing, it just takes so long. I just wish they would. Sometimes I wish they would slow down on content and fix the stuff we currently have in certain scenarios, like you mentioned with the clan update, the chamber stuff, fixing for when they added poison dynamite, it was pretty bad, and it's still pretty bad. I don't need it to be amazing, but I would like it not to be pretty bad.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of things they need to like. I don't know. I like. Don't get me wrong. I'm like excited for sailing. And I know when it comes out, it's going to be fun to play. Um, but I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes with it that I, d- I, d- I'm trying to come up with the right words. Um, I feel like it's going to come out kind of half baked, and there's going to be some things that I've forgotten about. Like same with like the clan update, chambers, things like that. There'll be a lot of things that are like kind of broken, and they won't look at for like months because they're working on like the next big sailing update to add more stuff to the game rather than fine tuning it um, and balancing it. And that's one big thing I'm worried about with sailing is the balancing side of things. But yeah, I've heard they're keeping it in mind, like they don't want to destroy too many like skilling matters. They don't want to do too many like combination skills and things like that. So that's kind of like uh tempered my panic state, I guess.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
when we got the initial three proposals for skills, what was your favorite?
I like shamanism. Well, when I first saw all three, I immediately went taming. I thought, oh, that sounds really cool, and then I read it and I was like, nope. That I was like, actually, no. That could be more of like a hunting, farming sort of
Expansion?
expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah, more of an expansion more than anything. So I was like, okay, actually, no. And then shamanism, I really, really like the idea of it. Um like I like the entire idea of, from what I remember, being like a spirit realm. Like I could just imagine being in like, I mean there is kind of in LMS already, like a different version of Varrock. Where it's like, the spirit side or whatever, or like the spirit side of like Lumbridge or whatever. I feel like that I'm not big into the lore in this game, but it could add a lot of lore and it could add a ton of like interesting mechanics to the game. And it felt like it fit thematically.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but same with sailing. Like sailing 100% fits in old school. Um, and I'm kind of like in the middle. I didn't even vote for sailing. I didn't vote no. I didn't vote yes. Because I couldn't really make up my mind. Like I know a lot of people online are like you're either for something or against something. It's very like polarizing, very binary. But yeah, I'm not for sailing. I'm not against it. But what I will say is it definitely fits uh in this world of RuneScape. We've had pirates for so long, we've had shipwrecks, we've had, basically you think of like Dragon Slayer. As long as it doesn't come out and it's not like fishing trawler, I think we're all good.
Or like the Bon Voyage ship.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Dragon Slayer 2. I don't know. I don't know. It'd be funny if they like go back and rework certain things like Dragon Slayer and Dragon Slayer 2 where like you're out sailing and things like that. Like are they gonna change a lot of that? I would imagine they do. I don't know. It's
I would imagine
interesting.
they don't with old quests. Maybe they update things like maybe they update the Bon Voyage one or things you actually have to be on a ship for. Because like the Dragon Slayer 1 and 2, all you do is just hop. For 2, you just hop on the ships, and 1, you just sail the Crandor. So I don't imagine like that would change much, but I can envision like a new quest coming out where, you know, sailing is basically the whole point of the quest. Maybe even like
Yeah.
the introduction tutorial to the skill itself. But I guess that will be time will tell on that one for sure.
I'm just thinking of it from like a new player perspective. Like you go to do I mean I don't know how many new players we get into this game, but imagine being a new player and then you're like a member and then you see the sailing skill and you've done a little bit of the sailing skill and then you go do Dragon Slayer and it's like, oh cool, I've got to go sail out to Crandor and then it's like cutscene of traveling to Crandor. It's like, huh? This doesn't make any sense. Why am I not sailing there?
Oh yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
a good point too. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for the completionist side of things. I'm just worried that when sailing comes out, like that's all we're gonna see. Like we're not gonna see anything else besides sailing for like an entire year. Um, which is I don't know, it's a bit boring, but at the same time I've got so much to do in this game already, so I'm not dying for new content necessarily, but I don't know, I think it'd just be quite boring.
And I get that like that perspective on it for sure. But like you said, there's already so much. Like I feel like the only people that are bored are like your super endgame PVMers, super endgame irons who aren't collection loggers or XP guys. Like those are the people who just like
Yeah.
want to do PVM content and like that's all they want to do. And obviously, like besides Iron Man, you have to upkeep their potions and all that stuff. Because like we've got guys like Wooks only logs in now when a big update comes out
Yeah. Yeah, he'll just come in.
and just break
And then
it.
he'll like find a new meta. Or he'll be like, "Okay, guys, this is how you do it. See ya." Um, what do you think of the Scar Essence mine with Endgame Iron Man?
I I don't really have a perspective on it because I won't be able to access it.
Yeah,
My thought is sure if people want it because like
yeah,
as it's marketed right now, it's marketed towards people who like they have a scythe, they have a sang, they have a shadow, they have these items that need the runes to upkeep. And right now, the easiest way to get blood runes is true blood altar, full runecraft outfit with blood essence, and like and the giant pouch or the is it the massive or giant pouch
that's
that
that's the skilling side. That's the skilling meta to get all of them though.
yeah.
So I think if you're trying to get blood runes, the best way is just buying them at the moment. Um,
Oh really?
which I
I
think
thought it was
this
better to craft them.
I might be wrong. I mean, I'm not an endgame Iron Man player, but I think the best way to do it is buying them. Which I think this Scar Essence mine is trying to fix. So you can get. I don't think it's even a similar amount of blood runes. I think it's like way more blood runes than even buying them. But um, I just like the fact that it's incorporating the rune crafting skill rather than going out and like just hopping through tons of worlds and like buying runes. So, I mean, I think the rates could be balanced a bit better, but yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if it should be like I think like 40 to 50k bloods an hour is fine. I think like over 100k though is just way too astronomically high.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It definitely needs to be balanced because the thing is, if you make it like something crazy, like I might be pulling random numbers out of midair, but I think it was something like 200,000 blood
See,
runes or something,
I
something
think initial
crazy.
proposal was 250,000 an hour. Yeah,
250, yeah. So it's like that's a bit extreme. Like tone it down a little bit, because I mean, sure, yeah, you're incorporating the rune crafting skill, but like
and you have to pay what
at
was like
those rates,
400 GP per rune, something like that.
yeah,
So
yeah. But it's like even at those rates, like you're basically only gonna do that method for like a few hours, and then you're never gonna have to do it again. So
yeah, it
it's
was
not really incorporating the skill. So it definitely needs to be rebalanced. But yeah.
especially with the scythe being outclassed in so many places now. It's like of the 3 raids, it's easily like the most useless end game item now. Even it's not useless by any means, but compared to the T-bow and the shadow,
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
doesn't see the same kind of use. I know it's like really good in CMs. I know it's really good like at Nightmare, Seracnus, whatever, you know. But it's just not because I think even
It's not on the same level as Tebow and Shadow at all. It's not.
absolutely, yeah. So
And
that
I
like you
think
just
even the
said,
Fang outclasses it as well in a
yeah,
lot
like
of places. So
yeah, the fang with a Vernic is just better, and there's no upkeep.
yep, yep.
Especially if you have the fang kit, it looks sick. Who cares? So we talked a lot about the good, right? What's something that's coming to this game, or something that you never want to see enter this game, like update that you just hated, if there's any.
Microtransactions. Like, I mean, I know we have bonds, but it's like the lesser evil. I think in a way I enjoy the fact that bonds are in the game, and I wish they were back when I was playing, because I was mostly free to play. Um and didn't really have the money to get membership. So I think if there was the option to like grind for GP and then get a bond back then, I would have played even more than I did. So I do like the fact that there's bonds, but just general microtransactions. Um, which is why, when I go to RuneScape 3, I am going to be playing Iron Man mode to
That
kind of like
was
dodge a lot of that.
that was why it was my decision as well to go iron, is for that soul factor, is like I don't want to do everything without him, or like spin the wheel and get 250 mil and be like, oh cool, I can just buy full Torva now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. So that's what pulled me back into the game, strangely enough. This was years and years and years ago. Um I randomly logged into RuneScape 3. And I was free to play on both games. And I was like, "Oh, I've got these stupid like spinning wheel things." And I spun it and I got like a Saradomin Godsword or whatever that I could sell on the GE. And I was like, okay, well now I could buy a couple of bonds, and then that just like pulled me straight back into the game. Um, yeah, yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah, that would be a awful update if we got MTX like real ones, even if they were just cosmetic in OS. I don't just don't think there's any
Especially, yeah, 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 yeah.
no
Like even
place.
from like a completionist point of view, like I don't want to have to. I think if microtransactions came into the game and it was only cosmetic only, I'm sorry, I'm not incorporating that into like my goals. I'm gonna refuse. I'm not doing that. Even if there's like a free way to grind them out, like a battle pass or something, and you've got like a free version of the battle pass. I'm not doing it.
Like the Yak track.
Yeah, well, it's not the Yak track anymore, is it?
I
I
think it's
started looking into RuneScape 3 recently, and there's a big
oh
drama happening.
the hero thing. Yeah, yeah,
The hero pass, yeah.
yeah.
The huge update, the hero pass,
They were
which
like
is like
necromancy,
it's
hero pass.
yeah, like here's necromancy, but wait, there's more. There's a big thing on the horizon, and then boom, battle pass 3, which is worse apparently in some ways, but I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, I've only seen some
Um,
RC YouTubers like videos about it. That's pretty much all I know about it as well. Is like just don't do. We just they just don't want it.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the game. I won't give an opinion. I just I just keep up to date with what's going on. But it's just a dumb name for the thing as well, like Hero Pass. I don't know. It's just
Oh yeah.
uh it's I don't, it's just so generic and weird and horrible. Like Yak Track sounds cool. I like that, but
So what about updates that have come to the game that you didn't like? Is there any? Is there any at all?
Forestry comes to mind. I'm definitely not a fan of that.
Okay.
I'm definitely not a fan of forestry. Because it's really no longer about cutting trees. It's just like
Events.
tons of like little events. Yeah. Which no, I don't like it. And I think the fact that it's like all over the world, um, it's just I don't like it. Like I think it would have been fine if it was in like its own area, like maybe like a woodcutting guild expansion or something, or like certain like forests in the world. Like you actually have to go to a forest to go do it.
Yeah.
Um, rather than like seeing Draenor and then just seeing all of this random stuff keep popping up, and it's just like it's like that meme, like look at how they massacred my boy, and it's just I don't, I really don't like it. And yeah, if they start doing that to other skills, I I don't know. I think I'm gonna start losing hope. Um,
Yeah. We don't need a. We don't need a. We
but
don't need a mining forestry.
yeah, I don't need mining, forestry, fishing, all that sort of stuff. But like there are some good things that have come with forestry, like
The
the
tree
whole
timer.
idea of like yeah, like the tree timer, the two-handed axes, they look so cool. Um and there's like other bits with forestry that are cool and I like it. Um and I would like to see that added to like mining where like you could go mine ore with other people. Like you're not fighting over like iron rocks or whatever. Like maybe it needs to be balanced for like rune and stuff, but yeah, I think that would be cool to add it to mining where you could just mine together. Um, but yeah, forestry overall, I like I said, I don't necessarily mind the content. I just don't like how it's forced into like every part of the world. Like I wish it was just sectioned off somewhere.
No, I absolutely get it. And I didn't make the. I didn't make the groan noise because I was like, because I like forestry. I made it because like I was hoping you'd say something, so something different. Because like
Yeah.
that's the obvious one for sure is forestry, but
Yeah.
of course
Um,
it's hot in our minds, so it's hard not to think about it. So I can't blame you at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part they're doing pretty good with updates. Like Desert Treasure 2, whilst I've not done Desert Treasure 2, I've watched a ton of content on it. The bosses seem really cool, the quest seems really cool, like everyone is happy with it. I think the only mess up they did was the executioner axe, like hitting 500s or something crazy. Like how was that not tested? But yeah.
Good
I
old
think for the most
Jagex.
part they're doing pretty good. I mean, I know a lot of people like to shit on Jagex and things like that, but I think they're doing a good job, at least on the old. I don't know anything about RuneScape 3 side or the business. I like business plans, but at least for old school, like I feel like they're doing a pretty decent job. And I'm quite excited for the future. I just wish they prioritize things better. I wish they got more staff, like on the dev team,
Absolutely.
or just like in other teams as well, like customer service and things like that. Like, I just wish they had a ton more staff. I feel like this game could be so much bigger and better. But yeah,
It's crazy to think that OSRS is still like one of the top most played MMOs out there.
exactly. I don't think if I was like the big investor, I'd be like, we're onto something here. Let's get some more people in. Or get the right people in for a start. They just like hire a bunch of random people who don't know the game, but
Exactly.
you know what I mean.
So before I kind of, cut us off, because I know we could probably keep going another hour and a half, 2 hours, but I don't want to. I want people to finish this, right? maybe we can do a part two in the future. But
Yeah.
there was
Yeah, for sure.
there was one big question I wanted to ask that we talked about a little bit in the beginning, and that was the real life balance. That was the gaming balance, like your balance between your playing games, spending time. Obviously, you have a fiance, so that's that's a whole, as somebody as well who has a partner in a relationship. It's you can't just neglect somebody forever, even if she does play RuneScape too. I'm sure there are times that where your partner wants to just hang out. So
Yeah, exactly.
how do you balance your life without getting overwhelmed or without neglecting one thing too much?
Um, yeah, it's a big struggle. Um, but we always like make time. Like when we're having dinner, we always have dinner together, watch TV and things like that. So we spend a lot of time together. Um, and then we'll go out and do things. But we've also just recently bought a house. And
Congratulations.
whilst well, actually, I say that, but we've been in this house for like over a year. It still feels like we've only just moved in still, but there's, I mean, I think I think a lot of RuneScape players are hitting that age where we're starting to buy houses and things like that. And it's just like constant upkeep, trying to like, there's just like you feel like, oh, okay, I'm gonna paint these rooms, I'm gonna do this, but like you just spot more things to keep doing. Like we have like the gardens to sort out. We have like we still have some painting to do. We have like I want to like sort of replace some doors. I want to like get a ladder up to the loft, and like there's so many like little jobs that need doing. Um so yeah, there's that, and then job as well. I have gone down to like part-time hours temporarily. It's not necessarily because of YouTube either. It's just some other reasons, but yeah, there's a lot of time added there, and I did some overtime somewhat recently. Um, and it's kind of like, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a lot going on. I try to play RuneScape as much as I can. And I kind of try to keep a schedule, but it's kind of hard. Um, but I think one thing I want to try and incorporate as well is a bit more exercise and things like that. I've got to watch that I'm not like sitting 12 hours in front of a computer every day.
Oh
Definitely
yeah,
go out on more
definitely.
walks and things like that. So yeah, like my ideal day would be like waking up, go walk a dog, um, come back, make lunch, like do some bits around the house, play some RuneScape, make some dinner, hang out with Tara, and then go play some more RuneScape and go to bed. Do the same thing again. Very simple life, but yeah.
I had that routine when I would during lockdown for a bit. I would actually go outside. I had a one wheel, if you know what those are. It's like an electric skateboard.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
I'd ride that for an hour and a half every morning. I would come back, eat breakfast, and then I would play, and then eventually make lunch, or maybe even skip lunch, and then so it wasn't always super healthy, but I woke up at 7 every morning and I went to bed at 10 every night. So it was like I had a very like healthy sleep schedule because I knew if I didn't keep that during like lockdown times, I would go insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Sleep schedule is one thing I'm working hard on. Trying my best. I suffer from insomnia quite a lot, so it's uh it's a struggle, but I'm trying my best to keep to a somewhat of a routine, but it's really hard for me.
yeah, I wish you the best luck with that. I wish I could say I feel that, but I am asleep with about 5 minutes of my head in the pillow every night.
I can't. Yeah, I wish I could do that. I wish I could just like switch off, but yeah. I just I try not to look at like the alarm. It says uh like 4 hours until the alarm goes off, and then I'm like panicking. I'm like, I need to go to sleep. I need to go to sleep. I need to go to sleep. And then that's like working me up, and it's like then I just can't get to sleep, and then I look at the alarm again. It's like 2 hours until the alarm goes off, and I'm like, oh my god.
You're like,
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
be a
suffer
zombie
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So before I ask the final and of course most important question, do you have anything you wanted to ask me?
Um, how are you enjoying the level 3 skill of life in 2023? Do you wish the skill of Max Cape isn't in the game, right?
No.
No. Do you wish it was?
No opinion.
No
Because
opinion. Okay. Okay.
for a UIM, it would make it insanely convenient.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
From
yeah.
from
Teleport into
ma-
house, crafting guild, all that sort of stuff.
for a regular skiller, it'd be just a cool cosmetic. But for me, it would be an insanely big convenience item. So
Yeah.
as much as I would like it because of that, if they put it out, I only want it to be cosmetic.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Otherwise, I think it'd be far too overpowered, especially for like iron and UIM skillers, which I know is like very niche. There are not a lot of them. But there's enough where it would be like, well, if you're gonna play, you have to max. Like that's the first thing on your mind at that point. You shouldn't go for 200 mils until you max, because once you have the cape, it makes everything easier.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of, yeah, I see. I can see that. I can see that.
So because it makes farm runs nicer, contracts. It makes thieving. Then I always have a graceful cape on me, because right now I always wear my agility cape because I don't have construction yet. So I just always have a graceful cape on me. So, and since I run everywhere, it's very convenient to have that with me at all times.
Yeah, the daily stamina boost is quite nice.
Yeah, I use that on
What do
my
you think
farm
of
run
like
sometimes.
what do you think of like the population of level 3 skillers nowadays? Because I feel like I mean, I'm not into any level 3 skiller clans or anything anymore. Um but I feel like I don't see many skillers very often anymore. Whereas back in like 2000, like 2008 to 2010, I'd see them like almost everywhere. Or maybe it's because I'm not keeping an eye out for other level 3 skillers anymore. I don't know. But I
No,
feel like the population has declined
it's
massively.
definitely declined. I think the reason it declined and is still slowly declining is a lot of level 3 skillers, when they make the account, they don't plan to do 200 mils. So they finish 99, a couple 99s, like, oh, that was fun, that was cool. And then they'll play like an alt account. Like, I can't tell you how many people in my skiller clan. It's slowly like turning into a like just social main skiller clan at this point, because there are just so many people who like play level 3, they max it, and then they play their max main or their alt to like PVM and stuff, and then the skiller
And
just sits and
they
does
stay in the
redwoods.
clan.
Yes,
So
and then
they stay in the clan on the main account, right?
on both, yeah,
Yeah,
they'll have
yeah,
their level 3
yeah,
ranked, and then they'll have the main as just a gnome,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it can get kind of frustrating, um, because like there are very few, especially like iron skillers, that do post max XP. So like finding people who are pushing boundaries for methods and all that kind of stuff, it's just like so few and far between. But we get so many good quality of life updates, like Rings of Recoil and the Magpie tables, so I can sell my blood runes to Ali Morrisane for in the feud. Poison Dynamite, with that coming the Poison rework, right? They reworked Poison, so now monsters that weren't traditionally being able to be poisoned, you can do it with Poison Dynamite now.
Yeah, yeah.
So lots of good quality of life stuff. Obviously, Guardians of the Rift was a great quality of life for Iron Skillers, because otherwise it was RCS Library till 77, and then Blood Runes, and that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I remember watching Tara do that for so long because the early levels are so painful.
But yeah, until you get
But
to
then,
like the
yeah, you
30s and
get the
40s, and then once you get to like
yeah,
60, it sucks
yeah,
again.
yeah. And also, it's the fact you could just misclick and choose magic, and then game over.
I think I did that
Um,
once,
yeah,
because it only gave you
it
like
sucks.
12 XP. Because I have 16 magic XP, so I think I did that. I think I did that once.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happened to our clan as well. Like a lot of level 3 skillers would just either turn into mains or that like they'd just come and join in on their alt accounts.
Yeah.
And then we just, like I say, we were a level 3 skiller clan. We were huge back in like 2008, 2011 or so. And then after that, it kind of, I mean, obviously EOC killed RuneScape for the most part, so that was partly to do with it. But yeah, we slowly started um, turning into more of a social clan, and that's what we are today. But we do still have some skillers in the clan.
Has your clan always
Um,
been like the same name?
yep. Well, no. Um, oh god. So way back in the day, it used to just be my friends chat on the account I played, which was my free to play skill. And so people would join on there. And then it got to a point where like the clan was actually quite big, so I thought, okay, it seems quite dumb like joining a clan called my name. It seems a bit weird. And I was playing Saints Row at the time, and um for those who haven't played Saints Row, you essentially go around, you like, well, there's a lot more to it, but you go around and you like recruit people and you all wear purple and stuff like that. And that's what I was kind of doing in RuneScape as well. I was going around, I was like recruiting people, and at the time, when you were in the friends chat, dots on the mini map were purple, and so I was like, oh, I'll call ourselves the Saints. So we were called the Saints for a long time, and then the first like the update came out where you could like change your name, and they also like let a whole bunch of names come out that were inactive, and Saints was one of them. And so I've had that since that update. Um, so that's on a level 3 in old school. It's just an account called Saints,
That's
and
pretty
that's
sick
what
though.
we when the clan update came out, they spoke to a whole bunch of clan leaders to like reserve your name. And so I put in like the application to be invited into the Discord, all that sort of stuff. And then a week before the clan update came out, you had to talk to like the Jmod would create your clan and then like hand it over to you. And our clan was the first to be picked, like in old school. But I was in a Zoom call at the time at work, and so I missed the Discord ping. And I think it was Tedious. He got the first clan in the game, and we were second. I got like a screenshot from a. I think I still have the screenshot from like a JMod saying, "Yeah, you were like second or third or so." But yeah, it's really cool. Um,
That is very cool.
but yeah, I know of other clans back in the day like Peaceful. And then I think there was like a split off from Peaceful that went into like Hopeful or something.
Yep. And then
Um,
the main big one back in the day I remember the most is level IIIs or level 3s.
yeah, name rings a bell. Definitely rings a bell.
That was the clan I was
I
in most
was,
of the time as a skiller. I think because I didn't really do clans when Peaceful and Hopeful were big.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, they were huge. I'm not sure if they're even still going to this day. I know quite a few people from there. Um, but yeah, it's a shame not seeing as many level 3 skills running around in the game because I feel like you'd see so many back in the day. You definitely see them all over the place, but now it's like a rare occurrence.
yeah, it's like if you go to places like Wintertot or like other places like that, you'll see a lot more. It's like you also have to be in the right world because like every level 3 clan has their own world they use.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like if you're on 421, that's the Z Skillers clan world. You'll see a lot of us there.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Yeah,
the
so I'll go on.
I was gonna say like, but like the thing about it too is because there's not many. Whenever somebody sees me, they like say like they say one of two things: cool account or how did you get your Slayer up?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, yeah, I know that's not changed at all. Tara gets the same thing every time.
yeah,
Um,
and then I talk, and then they see the UIM helm, and then
yeah,
they just call me insane and walk away.
yeah.
That's about the
Exactly
reactions
the
I get
same for
these days.
Tara with the regular Iron Helm.
Yeah, because people are like, Iron Man already is pretty like not pessimistic. What's the word I'm looking for?
Uh, is it? No, it's not sadistic.
Yeah,
Masochistic.
sadistic, masochistic.
So
That's the word. Yeah.
one of those.
So
Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, that's pretty
yeah,
much like, I guess from my perspective, it's just people finish doing what they wanted to do in the level 3, and then they just move on.
yeah. I mean, that's what Tara did. She maxed her normal skiller, and then she was like, "Now what? I guess I'll make an iron." But the thing is, I don't know if her plans have changed because we've made like a group iron. She has a normal main account. She has a RuneScape 3, but at least last time we spoke about it, she was planning to do a Ultimate Iron next. But I don't know if that's still the plan. But it's funny you should say about the home worlds and stuff because we've got our home world is World 360. Um, and I chose that world as the home world because back in RuneScape, it was RuneScape 2 at the time. World 60 was the penguin hunting world. And
Yep,
so
still
you'd see
is.
you'd see tons of skillers running around trying to get their Slayer XP from all of the penguins. And so I figured we make that our home world because then we could bump into other skillers to like say, hey, do you want to join a clan? Do you want to join our clan? And so that's why World 360 is our home world on old school. Even though it's got nothing to do with penguins anymore, I just thought I might as well choose a world that will, that one has some meaning, so I'll choose that one.
Awesome. And I think we've pretty much covered everything that, well, not everything. I'm sure we could have, like I said, we could have dove more into some other stuff, but uh, for time's sake, letting you go to bed at a reasonable time. And
Yeah, yeah.
anything you have,
Try to.
what was that? Sorry?
I said I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna try to get to sleep at a normal time. See how it goes.
I will give you, I'll tell the Sandman to come give you some dust tonight.
Oh yeah, that'd
Sh-
be nice.
Share some of mine that I always get.
Yeah, I don't know how people could do it. I don't get it. I mean, sometimes I'm completely knackered from work. I'm just like, I'm home. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to bed. But the vast majority of the time, I just lay in bed, like waiting to like, I don't know. I'll be there for like 3 hours sometimes, just like turning over in bed.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, sucks. But oh well.
Is there any final words you want to say before we sign off?
Um, no, I love RuneScape. I like most of the updates. I love level 3 skills. Uh, I love the game. That's about it.
Well, thank you for being on. If anybody here is not subscribed, please go subscribe to Mr. SaintShiba. Is it Shiba or Shiba?
Shiba. It's there's a Japanese dog breed called the Shiba Inu, and I had a Shiba mix growing up. Oh god, I can talk about this for ages, but essentially I changed it. I used to be called Saint Josh in the game. We used like our clan name,
Yeah.
like every other clan used to do. Um, but then I was hounding Tara to like I really want a dog, and I had a Shiba mix growing up. And so I just changed my name to SaintShiba one day to annoy her, and it's just stuck ever since. So
Do you have a Shiba in real life now?
no, no, no. Maybe in the future. We'll see. We'll see.
One day soon, hopefully, if you want
Yeah.
one.
Oh yeah, I do.
All right.
100% I do.
They're cute dogs. I don't blame you.
Yeah, they're so nice. I love them.
Well, thank you again. Hopefully, we'll see you on back again when more big updates come out, or maybe you get farther on your series or do something crazy that I'm like, yo, we got to talk about this. So,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's good. Yeah, we could definitely do a part 2. Just let me know.
well, Thanks once again, and thank everybody for listening. Like, subscribe. Let me know who you want to see on the cast, and go subscribe to Saint Shiba's channel. And thank you all.